Welcome to episode 109 of Speak on It. I am your host, Danny Ocean, as always, joined by the smoothest man. I see those turntables in the back. Losty Mix, how are you this evening?
My brother, as you already know, when you see the fro, it's got to be the bro himself,
Oh,
Los D Mix. As always, it is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. Another Tuesday, we get to spend it together. Pause.
that's
We get to
okay. You
spend
don't.
it.
You can unpause on that one. That came from
You're
the
right.
heart.
That's a
I
resume.
appreciate
That's a
that.
resume. We get to
Yeah,
spend it another Tuesday doing what we do best, and that is speaking on some things. Back at it for episode 109. I do have the turntables here. You heard me when I got on here.
I
I've
did.
been I've been practicing. I can't say that I'm good, but I can't say that I'm bad either. I'm still just trying to figuring out some things here and there. I might just play some things. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like one week we should just have you come on and DJ a session. I know we're probably going to get hit with some copyright stuff, but I think that people would enjoy that.
We might see what we can do. As long as we gotta we gotta do it in a way that doesn't get folks flagged or anything.
Yeah, yeah. As always, this show is brought to you by goingfor2.com. Head over to goingfor2.com for all your fantasy needs. Training camps are officially underway. Fantasy drafts are right around the corner. Again, it's goingfor2.com. All your fantasy needs. It is going to be a great evening. Before we get started, I do want to apologize for those who are on the live journey. We're a little behind tonight. That is my fault. I had to take care of some stuff. My wife had some car issues, took care of it. She's good to go. But we're still going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to continue our divisional preview. We do this every year, 8 weeks before kickoff. We go through each division, kind of give our thoughts on it. Tonight, we're in the NFC West. We're going to talk some basketball. We're going to talk some headlines from the league. People gambling can't get out of their own way. We're going to do some big deal or no deal. Mbappé got the deal of a lifetime. And I feel like we're going to spend a lot of time on that. I don't know about you, but yeah, man. Yeah. I kind of want to start there, but we don't have to. It's just, dog, that blood money, it looked real good. That Saudi
Why
blood
see
money,
okay, but why gotta be blood money?
I mean, we know. The people know.
No, you don't know. See, this new age thing that we do in 2023 where we just assume we don't know. Now,
Okay.
now, of course, there's some Twitter nerd out here who's probably put a string of his own conspiracies together based on some Wikipedia facts and him taking or they taking some advanced history courses back in their day. So of course there's room for that, but I'm not here for that. You don't know it's blood money. They are business. They are business kings.
Here's what I'll say. If there's anyone out here willing to front $1 billion for one human being to come play from them, I can say with 98% assurance that that billion is not clean money.
So I'm glad we're starting the show out with this because it's clear that we just needed to let you start this show and get your hate out.
No, it's not hate.
Nah,
Listen,
this is hate.
listen,
This is
listen.
hate.
Let me tell you something. I don't
How could
care
you
if
be
the
for
money dripping
Saquon
with
but be
blood.
anti Mbappe and
I'm not. I
and and
hey,
and and
listen,
some would say they both is making blood money. So
listen.
what was we talking about here?
I never said that I wouldn't take the money, and I hope Mbappe does. I love seeing black folk get paid. Hey man, I think it's 776 million. The other part would be his transfer fee, but overall it'd be $1 billion for him to play 1 year, dog, 1 year of work, and I can get 776 million. I don't care where the money came from.
Are
Sign
you
me up.
taking the deal? Yes or no?
Hell yeah, I'm taking. What we?
All right. So all this blood money, you just talking. You
Yeah,
was
I'm
just
just
talking.
I'm just talking.
You like them folk on the internet. Just be talking, complaining, mad that Elon Musk is changing it from Twitter to just X.
To a porn site,
Yo,
dog.
what is that? Where y'all's mind is?
Listen, look at the logo. Tell me that doesn't look like the kind of site you used to look at as a kid. It looked like a porn logo to
As a
me.
kid,
Yeah, I mean as a young man, not a kid.
you mean this morning?
No, you speaking for yourself. You're not speaking for me on that one.
Hey, shout out. All right, where we started
You
with today?
you watched Lena the Plug get stretched out this morning.
Absolutely not. And listen, the more they talk, the more uncomfortable I think that whole situation is.
Yo, I can't believe he got on camera and gave a post game interview and was like, "Yeah, she ain't been stretched out in a while." Hey,
Oh,
yo. All right, sorry.
we listen. This is why Kanye said we need to find God. This why Kanye was telling so many people to find
Yo,
God.
did you see the mock up for his new hoodie? Allegedly, did you see that?
I saw it.
Yo. Anyway,
Hey,
tonight,
we tonight. Where we
tonight
at, my brother?
we're going to start with some headlines from around the world. The first one, we're going to start with the FIBA World Cup and Team USA. They unveiled the roster. It's really, really, really young. Um, it looks like there's a changing of the guard happening, right? The LeBrons, like they're done with USA basketball. Now you got Tyrese Halliburton, all those guys. Jalen Brunson's on the team. In your opinion, is the United States still the bar for basketball? And are we still the country to beat internationally?
Listen, I think we still are the country to beat and the team to beat. I think the gap has just shrunk exponentially. Not off of talent, I think more so off of experience. I think some of these other countries that have been, especially these European countries, have getting really better and better at especially at international basketball. I think it's because of their longevity. I think when you see a number of our stars start to, either get up there in age or maybe focus on rest and recovery for the NBA offseason, I think this puts an emphasis on the younger generation of American hoopers, and I think we have a good core. It's just, learning to play on the international stage, learning to play with each other, learning those international rules.
Mhm.
Take some time, but I still think we're out the country to beat. Call me a
Uh,
homer.
yeah, same here. First of all, hello, Kyle. Thanks for joining us.
What up,
Uh,
Kyle? And thank you. You know I got to rep my one of my favorite white boys ever. What
oh,
up,
damn.
Jordan Nelson?
There we go. I'm with you. I think United States, that it's still the bar, but the gap is closed a lot, especially with such a young roster who, like you said, they're not used to playing international rules. Meanwhile, the field, they are used to playing. Most of the field is used to playing under FIBA rules.
Listen, Jordan, I know you got some free time and a whole lot of cash. Maybe you can team up and coach the next Olympics or something.
Michael Jordan would not be a good coach. We've talked about this before.
Listen, I really believe that sometimes you just got to get coached by greatness to understand greatness.
We've talked about this. The problem with greatness is they're going to say, why can't you do this the way I did this? Or why can't you do this thing that I can do? Well, because you are Michael Jordan and I am not. Like that's what separates.
Okay, you're not Michael Jordan, you Anthony Edwards. What does that mean?
It means he's not Michael Jordan. That's what makes him great. There are things that he can do that no one else or very few people on this earth can do. That's what makes him great. Most greats are not great coaches. Deion Sanders seems to be the exception. I have a feeling LeBron could be a good coach, but I don't think MJ does not look like the kind of guy who would have the patience needed to coach someone. It would be do this. That person cannot do that. And it's like, why can't you do this? And then that's where it ends.
See, y'all want to give credit for MJ being the GOAT, but if he is the GOAT that y'all say he is, he should be able to coach at a GOAT level.
I mean that I would say that for any great, like I would probably go out on a limb and say Lionel Messi probably wouldn't be a good coach. Like Lionel Messi can do things that no person on this earth can do. Maybe Ronaldo. That's it. So he goes to tell someone, "Hey, kick the ball like this, and it'll do this," and no one else can do it. And he's like, "Damn, why can't anyone do this like me?" That's what makes you great.
Speaking of Messi, he is in Miami on a tear right now.
Dog, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the goal to win it last week. Hey man,
He's already scored 2 versus Atlanta today, by the way.
this is probably like child's play for him, right? Like this is him this is like the equivalent of LeBron going to the local Y and is like, let's just run, let's see what happens, and he drops 40 on the game to 21.
I mean, it's honestly impressive just watching some of these highlights how much better he looks versus the competition.
Yeah, because especially America's men's soccer is way behind the world on that front. So again, he's taken multiple steps down to come play here.
Mm. Um, Back to international play.
Yep.
Jokic is skipping the World FIBA Cup.
Yep.
Um, and another one that I found pretty interesting in other roster news. Kyle Anderson of the Minnesota Timberwolves has
Yep.
become a Chinese citizen by
Yep.
naturalization and is playing for the Chinese national team.
Both very interesting things. Good for Jokic. It's hard to go from winning a championship in June, taking don't do it. I know you about to go. We're not doing that. We're not getting kicked off anything. And then get your rest. Get ready to defend your title. You'll be able to play international next year. Kyle Anderson, good for you. That's all I'm going to say. Don't. Here we go.
Kyle Anderson, I just didn't know. I just didn't. I wasn't aware of this in your game. I
Okay.
was just unaware of your of this being in your game. So
Yo, did you see that picture of him standing beside Yao Ming?
no,
There's a picture of him. I think once he had his citizenship, I guess Yao Ming was there. He went to hang out with Yao Ming. Sometimes I think we forget, and I'm going to do a preemptive pause, how big of a man Yao Ming is.
not enough pauses was
I said a
probably,
preemptive pause.
probably should have had two on that. But yeah, it's like
That's,
standing next to Wemby. They're like massive human beings.
yeah. So shifting gears, we just talked about Jordan the coach. Let's talk about Jordan the owner. It's official. He sold the Charlotte Hornets.
Got it out of here.
Um, got him out of here. That leaves. I think that now there are no majority black owners in professional sports. But we'll talk about that later. Jordan's tenure as an owner.
There
How
we
should
go.
it be viewed? What did Michael Jordan, the player we know, talk to me about Michael Jordan, the owner?
I think his time in Charlotte should be considered one thing: successful. Why, you may say?
Yes,
Whatever the number Michael Jordan paid to get this team,
that's fair.
he made it back. Oh, buddy, you did. Now I know there are some certain rumors that the reason that he sold the team was to pay off a quote unquote debt.
That's
I
an
don't know.
insane debt.
I don't know anything about that. I don't want to know anything about that, nor do I even think it's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's true either.
But
Like,
if it is,
how deep in the sharks you got to get? You got to sell your franchise because like he makes enough money off the sneakers, off his releases. Like, if he's that deep in the hole, he got to sell the franchise. He a dead man already. Like, he would already been gone.
they might be gambling something serious.
I don't know what that's James Bond Casino Royale kind of gambling.
Well, you talking rich people stuff.
That's true. I'll never reach that level of wealth.
Never say never.
I don't know if I'll ever get to a B. I might get to an M. Probably never get to a B.
So hold on. Why is it that your brain won't allow you to think of a B, but a
I got to
billion, but a
I got to
million?
get to the M before I get to the B.
But if you limit yourself to only the M, then who's to say when the B is there you pass over it because you think it's too ambitious?
Well, you got to break it down, right? No one wakes up and says, I'm going to run 26.2 miles. They say, hey, let me get a mile first. Let me get 5 miles first. And then we build your way up to a
But if
marathon.
your ultimate goal is to win a marathon, then eventually you have to think of it as that being the ultimate goal, and not letting the just completing a marathon be the limit. Why not compete and try to win it?
Okay, I like. Well, fine then. We both gonna see B's,
You know what I'm
and we
saying?
not and we not talking about winning.
I just think we as people have to start limiting where we think our train of trajectory can go, people. And I'm gonna speak on some things. Listen, sometimes sometimes the ceiling is the roof, but that don't make the roof the
All
ceiling,
right, MJ.
right?
All right, MJ. Yo, did you see? This is completely off topic, but this is MJ related. Did you see how the North Carolina men's team, I think a couple of weeks ago, got like some exclusive Jordans, and some of the women players were like, "But what about us?" Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
You think? What do you mean? Come on, Mike. What Mike do?
Mike, come on, Mike. He Michael Jordan. Hook the girls up too. They want some fours.
Hey, he said it's on the way. Probably.
Nah, he didn't.
You-
Um,
What would you do if MJ went was like you went to an MJ camp as a kid and he was shooting threes and he had to miss one for y'all to get free shoes and he swished every single one.
I'd be heartbroken, but yeah, I don't think.
Would you be mad at him or would you
Yeah, I'd
just be
probably
like,
be a little mad at him because I don't think an 8-year-old can comprehend that that's who Michael Jordan is. Like that's who he is, but 8-year-olds can't comprehend that. It's like, oh, we could have got free shoes and we didn't. Damn.
So let
And
me ask you something. You think most professional athletes put in that position intentionally miss one of the
yes,
shots
I think most like if Giannis is there and he has to miss a dunk and the kids get free shoes, I think he misses the dunk
on purpose?
on purpose.
Okay. So have you heard the story about when Cordell Jones was playing a kid in Madden in the hospital and beat him like 70
Yep, and
nothing?
that was hilarious.
And you don't think there's some athletes out here who if given a choice to miss a free throw or miss a dunk wouldn't take it to keep
All
a
right, let me see.
record?
Think of athletes with signature shoes right now. I think Giannis would miss it definitely. I think when Devin Booker just got his signature shoe, he would miss it. Ja Morant would not miss it. I think Ja would 360 windmill that joint and be like,
Okay,
"Damn."
so you what you saying is D Book a better person than Ja. That's
I'm
what you
not
think.
saying that at all. I'm just saying I
That's what
think
you think.
Ja would
Why
dunk
wouldn't
that
they?
joint.
Nah, but put a little bit more respect on Ja Morant name now. I don't like how you talked about Ja Morant, but listen, I'm on to you.
I just think the competitive nature. Let's see who
We
else.
got him.
Who we got him.
No,
I'm
we
trying to
got
think.
him.
I'm trying to think who else has a signature shoe. Like who has their own shoe. I think
LeBron,
Kevin
KD.
Durant Kevin Durant would
But
definitely
well,
make it.
let's talk about guys like Jimmy Butler,
Oh,
Austin
Jimmy would make
Reeves.
it. Don't nobody want Austin Reeves shoe. He ain't got to worry about that.
See, and I'm glad we brought this up because now you're just being disrespectful.
You gonna buy a pair of them Austin Reeves joints?
Well, I might
Uh,
consider it. My obligations keep me from being able to fulfill.
oh, okay.
Kawhi, he's right.
Kawhi
Kawhi,
making it.
the Jamal Murrays.
He's making it.
Let's
Nah,
not
Jamal. The kids might get shoes with Jamal.
let's
Kawhi,
not forget the
absolutely not.
folks who might still be out here hooping in the Allen Iversons.
Iverson would miss it. At this point in his life, he is very peak Iverson. Probably make it. Iverson right now would not.
All right. 3 free throws on the line. He makes 2. He's got to miss the last one. Do you think this next person makes or misses the free throw? The person is Bam.
Adebayo.
No, Bam in the chat. Bam.
Oh, he missing all 3. Kids getting everything. Kids getting shoes, scholarships, swag. No offense, Bam. Kids getting all of it.
The kids is Mike's Tots. Scott
Yeah.
Tots.
Yeah, Scott. All of it. Kids gonna get whips.
Hey, Michael promised them kids free tuition and can barely pay for some free computers. Yo,
Dog,
I just listen. This is a sign to everyone to do not make promises you cannot keep. Right? Do not make promises you cannot keep. Bam, I can't say that out loud. But the point of this is do not make promises you can't keep. Hey, maybe you came to a city in the Pacific Northwest and you gave them years and years of your hard work on the court, and the most you got was a Western Conference Finals appearance in 5 games. Hey.
awfully specific.
Hey.
But you know what? That's got to be top 3 funniest Office episodes. Like Scott's Tots. What's the one when he drives the car into the lake listening to the GPS? That gets me like that episode. Sign me up. That's
and don't forget the Prison Mike episode.
Prison Mike, yes.
Oh, yo, Prison Mike had me tripping.
Prison Mike. And then what's the one when he pretends to be Sherman Klump? I'll say that all.
Oh, I remember that one. Oh, Kyle says he's got to buy a bunch of shoes.
Yeah. Kyle, you're a good person. I'd make it.
Speaking of making promises that you cannot keep, the Los Angeles Angels
Yes.
have to continue to mull over the potential Shohei Ohtani trade, which brings us to the discussion of should we continue to support professional sports organizations that historically want to go the cheap way out instead of looking at ways to keep their star athletes? Or should professional organizations look to punish organizations that are repeat offenders of being too cheap to play the stars?
Thank you for taking that one. I meant to ask you pre-show because I was going to butcher that his name. I always do. So thank you for knowing my weakness. I think fans through the lens of fandom, people are irrational, right? There are fans who still cheer for the Browns. There are fans who still cheer for the Wizards. There are people who still cheer for the Lions, right? So in regards to fans, holding organizations responsible or pulling their fandom because they let a star walk, that's not going to happen. Like fandom is a disease, fandom is a drug, it is crack in the purest form, and once you get a hit of the crack, there is no going back. In regards to leagues holding owners responsible for being cheap, I don't think that will ever happen, because if you are an owner that is not afraid to pay, having a cheap owner eliminates some of the competition, right? Jerry Jones not afraid to go spend money on a star receiver. The Browns are, well, okay, in Jerry's mind, that's one less team that I have to worry about. So I
Okay.
think from a competitive standpoint,
But what about in a sport like the NBA or
uh-huh.
the NFL where the salary cap is a little bit more tight? So
Mm-hmm.
it might then be in favor of the cheaper owner who's then looking at it like you don't have enough in your books to be able to really trade for them. So
That's true. My retort to that, like, let's look at Dame Lillard right now, right? If Oklahoma City wanted to, Oklahoma City has more than enough to walk up to Portland and say, "Hey, give us Dame." The problem is the player. Dame would be professional in Oklahoma City. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but he wouldn't want to be there. Granted, Dame has no leverage. He still has like 3 years left on his deal. But if you're Oklahoma City, he does not want to be there, even though you have the assets to go get him and the money to pay him.
you know what I say? Listen, Angels. Shohei Ohtani is one of the best baseball players I've been able to see with my two eyes. The dude is really, really good. And I think it's funny that nowadays, I had a buddy who was telling me this. He would say nowadays, if you watch the Angels games, they're barely losing games. But if you watch the flow of the game, it's even funnier because Ohtani starts him off if it's the night that he's pitching and hitting, and he's just striking him out, striking him out, striking him out. He leaves. They get a reliever pitcher. Angels end up losing games like 5-4. It's just like, oh wow.
Insane.
So when he steps out, it is really, really, really bad. Angels. I'm looking at it like this. You've had Mike Trout for a while. You've
Yep.
had Shohei Ohtani for a while. You have nothing really to show for. These are two generational baseball players. I beg you, I beg you, start taking professional baseball seriously. You're becoming a joke.
Yeah.
This is
I mean,
baseball. You're gonna have to
there's no
pay these
salary cap.
players.
There's no salary cap. That's the thing for me about baseball. There's no salary cap. What are you doing? But one thing I think we need to remember about ownership, I don't know how it is in baseball, but we talk about cheap owners in football, and we're about to talk about the Bengals in a minute. The thing about owners is it's not that they're rich, it's how fast or how much they have that's liquid, right? Because when you get to these contracts, these signing bonuses, like, oh, 40 million at signing, which Joe Burrows don't get that much, but just use that as an example. Like, say Joe Burrow signs a contract and there's 35 million due at signing. Some owners ain't got $35 million to write that check. Like, a lot of their
That's
stuff is
true.
tied up in
That's
assets,
true.
real estate,
That's
the
true.
stock market. So you have these owners who can, Jerry Jones, all right, fuck it, I'll write a check $35 million. Here it is, go have fun. But
And you know what happens when that happens when they do that? You know what that incurs? So when they promise, and this is one good thing for you fans to learn, when you promise a star player this type of money and they end up signing for this exponential deal, okay, cool. Fans happy, star player happy, organization happy. But what happens when the sales for that year doesn't equal out to what they had projected it to be when they had negotiated this deal. You know what
Right.
they got to do? They got to increase some prices on things. You know what they
Yeah.
usually start with?
Tickets and
Tickets.
concessions.
Tickets and concessions. So, similarly to when they agreed to these new mega stadiums across the country for these football teams, it sounds nice, it sounds pretty, and then all of a sudden, everything in that immediate area just woo skyrockets
And you know
in
what's
price.
frustrating about these new stadiums? I don't think though the Buck Stadium, Wisconsin, went through this. Maybe it did, but taxpayer dollars are paying for these stadiums for the majority of these stadiums. Like owners are holding these teams hostage, and this is a completely different rant that we'll talk about another day. But owners are holding these teams hostage. That's what happens in Buffalo, right? The owner's like, "Well, screw it. You don't want to help me pay for a stadium? I'll move the team." And the fans get irrational. Please don't move the Bills. We love the Bills. And next thing you know, local legislation says, fine, we'll give you 75% of the money you need to build a new stadium. Owner puts up 25%. And that is how rich people stay rich. You don't spend your own money.
And then guess what happens? Now if it costs $100 a ticket to go see the Bills, it might cost 150, 200 to go see a
Yep.
ticket to go see the Bills now. Because you know what? Somebody had to pay for this.
Somebody had to
So
pay for it. And that pothole on your street that didn't get fixed, too
that's
damn
why.
bad.
That's just too damn bad.
Too damn bad. So speaking of,
Listen, listen, all I got to say to the people is drive over that pothole and enjoy your local team, because the
hit that.
two will not be synonymous unless you live in one quite right neighborhood.
We're going to
Kyle says he still cheers for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in a 9 team league that they haven't won the Grey Cup in this millennium, but he's hooked.
see, Cal, and it doesn't matter how cheap the Hamilton Tiger Cats are, you're going to be there and hate
Why
all
they got
day.
to be cheap? Yo, you acting mad bougie today.
And I'm saying, I mean, we're
Now
talking
you
about
acting
owners that are
bad.
being, we're talking about owners that are being cheap.
You acting bad. Act bad, act bad, act bad, act bad, act
Well,
bad,
since
act bad.
we're talking about cheap owners, let's shift to the Bengals.
Hmm.
Right now, they're preparing to negotiate a contract with Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is after that, and T. Higgins. So if you're the Bengals and you're cheap Paul Brown, how do you keep this trio together? If you can, how do you do it responsibly? And if you can't, how do you decide how to split this trio up?
Listen, if I am the president, what's his name? Paul
Paul
Brown,
Brown.
Michael? Paul Brown? Listen, Paul Brown, put both hands up like this and say, hey, you got me. Joe Burrow, I'm going to give you a fourth of this cake. You other folk,
Yeah, for me, it's I prioritize Joe and Jamar.
Joe and Jamar, but T. Higgins is number one wide receiver too. Who do you think will be asking for more money though?
Oh, in that order, Joe's going to ask for the most, and then it's going to be Jamar, and then it's going to be T.
And
Like
if you're the
that's the
Bengals, you're
order.
willing to pay more for Jamar.
Hell yeah, I'm willing to pay more for Jamar. Would you pay T Higgins more?
Well, that's how many years of production?
Jamar did Jamar come in a year before T, right?
Maybe like a year and a half.
So
I,
we've seen the Bengals offense when it's just Jamar, and it was still explosive. Hell yeah, I'm paying Jamar.
but have we seen the Bengals offense with just Jamar and no T Higgins?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. When was Jamar drafted, and when was have we seen this? I think we've seen this offense because I think it was Joe, then Jamar, then T.
Trying to do some thinking up here.
Let's
You
see,
might be right.
Kyle. Can you look at like when was T drafted compared to Jamar?
Research.
Research, but I mean, there's a salary cap in the NFL. There's no way you do this responsibly unless all three of them agree to take less. Kind of like what the Aces did in the WNBA. Like all of them have not come out and said, but the contracts they're signing are less than their max value. So unless all three get in a room and decide, Higgins was drafted in 2020. When was Chase drafted then? Oh, was Higgins before Chase?
I think Higgins was before Chase. I think
Because
Chase
Burrow was
was
drafted in 2019, 2020.
T. Higgins was drafted 2021.
No, Kyle said T. Higgins was drafted in 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Jamar Chase was drafted in
Tw-
2021.
Same year as Burrow and Jordan Love. Okay, so Burrow and Higgins came in together. Chase was 2021. So we've never seen this offense without Jamar. We've never seen Jamar alone in this offense for an extended period of time. That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Over.
I would take the risk and say there is a number one receiver out there who's willing to take less to play with Joe Burrow the same way receivers take less to go play with Patrick Mahomes.
Uh, but I think if you're T Higgins, you've been there longer. You
Yep.
have slightly better stats after a year. I think you could. Why not convince everyone involved to take maybe a little bit less so that we can keep this collective together?
I agree. I just know traditionally quarterbacks ain't trying to hear that, right? Every quarterback is trying to beat out the contract that is in front of them, right? Jalen Hurts was the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. 3 days later, it's Lamar Jackson, right? Like Joe Burrow is going to try to outbeat Lamar or Justin Herbert, whoever. Like they're just trying to beat the guy in front of them.
Although I never really, this goes back to our conversation on should they publicize this information? Because if we didn't know that, then we just didn't. We would have just never knew it.
Yeah. I mean, especially that goes back to Deshaun Watson. I think he got the most guaranteed money of all time.
I feel good though that my fantasy quarterback is Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to hold you.
Well, who got extended today? Hold on, Bam. What did I miss? Who got extended today?
Justin Herbert.
What? I missed that?
He made some good money today.
Oh man, how did I? It's been a very busy afternoon for me. Hold
He's
on, I
calling
did
the
not see.
family and letting them know that they don't have to work anymore.
Okay, so Herbert, he tops the previous high of 80 million of Lamar Jackson. 218 dog. Joe Burrow is going to break the bank. Justin Herbert gets 100 million in year one. That is absurd. That's a whole lot of money for someone who ain't done shit. It's time to have the Justin
Okay.
Herbert
Oh, see
conversation.
now hold on. Whoa, wait a minute. See what I'm not about to let you do is come in here and slander Justin Herbert. He took a bad
Dog,
team to the playoffs last
we need
year.
to have the Justin Herbert conversation
We
because
here,
he
and you
getting a whole
wrong.
lot of love for a dude who blew a 27-point lead in the playoffs to the Jags last year. There's a whole lot of huffing and
Okay,
puffing
and
coming
your
from the
quarterback blew
Chargers.
a lead in the Super Bowl, so
It
it
wasn't
just be like
27
that sometimes.
points.
It just be like that sometimes.
That's the group. That's the biggest blown lead in the history of American football. Oh no, he doesn't get to walk away from that unscathed. No, sir. All you had to do was put 2 5-minute
Oh,
drives together.
this the hate cast from you today.
Oh, this is definitely some hate because
You
Justin.
hate. You hating. You gotta let that
Listen,
hate go.
let me ask you a
Herbie is on
question.
his way to being an NFL all-timer. Look at the stats and the
Let me.
trajectory is there. Let's just
He
also
puts up a
remember he's
lot of
never
empty
had a couple
calories.
years under the same offensive coordinator. This guy is really good. He is going to be really good. Get that hate out your head.
I'm not saying he's not going to be good. I'm just saying for a quarterback that blew a 27-point lead, he is sure like he just gets off scot-free. What happens if Lamar blows a 27-point lead? What if Aaron Rodgers blows a 27-point lead? What if
Oh, he's
what
blown
if Patrick
something.
Mahomes or Jalen well, Patrick is bulletproof. He can do that. What if Jalen blows a 7-point lead? What if
He blew
Dak
like a
does it?
10-point lead in the Super Bowl.
That's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. He bleed the way the rest of these football players
Nah,
bleed.
not 27 points. Not the greatest comeback in NFL history. Dog, he does not get to walk away unscathed from that.
Bam says that Herbie is incredible, but his coach is garbage. What do you think of Coach Stolley?
I think he was cool his first year, and then he kind of went into a shell. He is the Kyle Shanahan of the AFC. No, I take that back.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Staley chokes in big moments, just like Kyle Shanahan. He wets the bed. We forget, and here, since we hating, let's hate. We forget who the offensive coordinator was when the Falcons blew that 28-3 lead. Can anybody tell me
Oh, here we
who the
go.
offensive coordinator for the Falcons was? The
Was
run
it
game
not?
genius, the
Was it not
wizard.
Kyle Shanahan?
Oh, the wizard, the run game genius, the
Yeah.
savant, Kyle Shanahan.
Yo, at what point in that Super Bowl did you really think, man, they might mess around and come back?
When oh boy caught, and thank you, Kyle, for correcting me, 33 points. I meant playoffs. Thank you for that clarification. When oh boy made that catch, was it Amendola? Someone made that catch, and I thought it hit the ground. I was like, oh, this is over. It's funny. My best friend, the best man at my wedding, is a Falcons fan. He and I were in a bar. He was there, like there were some Patriots fans across from us, and my boy was talking shit the whole game. And then it was either Amendola made that catch, and everyone in the bar realized what was about to happen.
I think when the moment I realized, yo, they really
Edelman,
might
thank
win
you.
this, Edelman. I think the moment in overtime when they did the coin toss and it landed the Patriots' way, I said, yo, the Falcons will never touch the football again this season.
And they did not. Crazy. Greatest thing we've ever seen, dog. But who was at the helm for the Falcons offense during that? All that time.
Kyle
One
Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. Again, walking away unscathed. Crazy. He left Atlanta and went to San Francisco. Same thing.
You sound like mad haterish, but I'm not mad
I am.
because
Am I right though? Like, am I right? Does he get to
what
walk away from that?
what has he done since leaving the Falcons?
He went to the Super Bowl and lost. He went to 2 NFC Championship games. One, he won. Second one, he lost last year, but Brock Purdy got hurt. But you know
So he
how? Do
says.
you know how Brock Purdy got hurt? Kyle Shanahan decided to put a third string tight end on the best pass rusher in the NFL. Crazy. What a time.
He thought he could run chip it, get the ball out quicker.
Not on Hassan Reddick, you can't. But he's supposed to know that because he's the savant. He's the genius. He's Kyle Shanahan.
Well,
He's
clearly you're not watching quarterback because the quarterback's got to process a lot.
He is Kyle Shanahan. He is bulletproof. He is the smartest.
You have to watch the
Fuck
QB.
outta here.
You got to watch the quarterback show on Netflix.
I do. I did. I watched it. My wife and I on the last episode. Patrick is about to play in the Super Bowl, and I stopped it. I said, "Turn this shit off. I can't do it."
Bam is also blamed RG3's career.
Hello, thank you, Bam. I forgot about that. Yeah, the genius, the savant, sent RG3 out while his leg was tied together with a piece of thread. Kyle Shanahan.
That is such a yo. Your metaphors are so interesting today.
Dog, there's a lot of hate in my heart for Kyle Shanahan, and he gets to keep walking away, just like Justin Herbert keeps getting to walk away from his mishaps. Tell him, Hendricks. Hendricks, hear me?
Yeah, he talking about something. So this is what I don't get. What did Justin Herbert do to deserve this type of slander?
Nothing. Here's the thing about Justin Herbert. You don't get to blow a 27-point lead and walk away like nothing happened. Like he didn't get any kind of slander. He got some slander that night, but for the most part, like Justin Herbert has got to walk away unscathed for a man who has never won a playoff game.
No defense. No defense.
A 27-point lead, 2 5-minute drives, and that game is over. That's it. 4 first downs.
Yeah,
That's
but no
it.
scoring by your defense, and it doesn't matter either.
But it doesn't matter if your offense is executing and you stay on the field. You know what made the Eagles great last year? If they were up at the fourth quarter and there was 12 minutes left, guess when they're giving the ball back? There's going to be 2 minutes left because they can put together long drives. That's what makes a team great. The Chargers cannot. Kyle corrected me again. 27-point lead is the third largest in playoff history. Thank you, Kyle. But still, you don't get to be the quarterback of a team that blows a 27-point lead and just walk away like, we'll see you next year.
But what if in the eyes of many that loss was not as much on him as it was that defense?
At some point, your offense has to get together and say, hey, guys, the defense is struggling tonight. Let's put a long drive together. Let's ice this game.
All right. Hey, guys, I just want you to know my man Danny Ocean's head is shining.
I didn't even shave today. But thank you.
My brother's got the shining head today. Pause.
That's the hate coming out. That's all the hate just generating.
Bam says Keenan Allen is also a great wide receiver, but he's also 47.
He looked
Listen,
47.
I'm glad that you are here, Bam and Kyle, because before we get into more of our NFL news, I want to talk a little fantasy. Are we? You want to do that, Danny?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go off script. Let's go off script.
All right. So, folks, if you did not know, the other hat I wear outside of the day to day of the Speak on It cast is I'm also a commissioner for two leagues, a redraft league and a dynasty league,
Yep.
both 10 teams. Danny is the inaugural champion of our dynasty league.
Talk to me.
And members of our daily members, Kyle and Bam, are both two of the managers that are in the league. I first want to address some of the things that are coming up in the league.
Yep.
So we have we've already drafted. We have week 1 starting soon. Dues will be due soon.
Yep.
I know some people have already paid. Yeah, and then outside of that, we will also soon be doing the unveiling of the official All Money In Championship belt. So for those who don't know, last year for inaugural season, the only prize that we had was the cash prize, which Danny had won for first and second. This year, I wanted to get it more active in the chat, which I think would lead to more activity in the trade rooms. So I introduced the All Money In Championship belt, and it is essentially a replica of which one did you decide? The Attitude Era one?
No, I picked the Winged Eagle belt, the best championship belt ever.
So Danny Ocean, as the champion, got to choose what the championship belt looked like, and he chose the Winged Eagle WWE Championship. For those who don't know, is made famous in the late '80s, early '90s.
Bret
Shawn
Hart
Michaels
wore that
wore.
belt.
Yeah,
Shawn
Bret Hart
Michaels
won the
wore
belt.
that belt.
That was the Vince screwed Bret belt.
Austin wore that belt before he changed it to the Broken Skull.
But listen, we got some options. We've been keeping our eye on some options. That when the belt is revealed, it is revealed. And we did get some pushback in the chat.
We
And
did.
me as a commissioner, I wanted to bring up all the smoke. So I saw the feedback, and now I'm seeing it again from Bam in the chat that said that it's an AARP belt. Kyle said that was a Montreal Screwjob belt. He now objects. A lot of folks are saying since it's the All Money In League, we should be using the Bob Backlund no, not Bob Backlund.
Ted
That was
DiBiase.
someone who won the Ted DiBiase All $1 million championship belt. I said we should use the John Cena spinner belt.
Never. As long as I live and breathe, I am so. If this is the only time I win the league, and I get to dictate what belt we use from here until the end of time, I'll take it because God knows you'd have an orphan team if the winner got that ugly ass spinner belt.
I don't believe that belt was ugly, by the way. I think I'm going to say that.
Listen to the history of the Winged Eagle belt. Andre the Giant, Bob Backlund, Sergeant Slaughter, Kevin Nash, Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, Psycho Sid, Yokozuna, The Undertaker, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan with the hard ER, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart.
What
Hall
about
of
the belt?
Fames.
What about the
Across the
Attitude Era
world.
belt, though?
Which one is that?
That was the belt following that one, that The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H.
That was my third. That was my fourth choice. It was for me. It was the Winged, the Ted DiBiase, the World Heavyweight Championship that Triple H wore. That belt is beautiful. And then it was that one. And then at the very bottom, 20 feet under, near the Earth, not even 20 feet under, near the Earth's core, was the spinner belt.
I think the spinner belt just needs a little bit more love and appreciation.
You won't get it from me.
Hey, hate comes in many forms. You gotta
Yes, it
let
does.
that hate go in your heart. But for those who are wondering what the other one is, I sent it to you, Danny.
I mean, Bam, Diesel, Kevin Nash, it's the same person. Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, same person.
Yeah, I'm talking about this one. The second one I sent you for 95. That looks like the one.
Oh, though, yeah, the second, yes,
What about this one? Bam, Kyle. That's like an OG.
beautiful, beautiful. Like, here's the thing about, and I said this in the chat. The wing eagle is such a bad bitch. You can take it anywhere. You can take it to your mom's house. You can take it to the club. You can take it to church. You can take it to work. You can't take the spinner belt to meet your mom.
I'm
She
my
don't
brother.
say,
I'm glad you mentioned that because at that dinner with your parents, they're gonna ask the swinged eagle about its history and have you had any questionable partners. And now you're gonna look around the room and say, "Yeah, there might be a few in here." Starting with old Hulk Hogan himself.
"Oh,
The
fine then. Let's
Hulkamaniacs weren't running that wild, brother. I'll tell you what.
here we go. Let's look up everyone who had the spinner belt. Let's see.
The
Rey
spinner belt or the Attitude
Mysterio.
Era belt?
This is the spinner belt. Mysterio, Rob Van Dam, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio. Listen to these names. The Miz, I was a Miz guy.
Legends.
The Rock had the spinner belt. I forgot that. Jeff Hardy, Batista, Edge, Randy Orton, Triple H had it. John Cena, of course, and CM Punk.
Fire.
That's an impressive list, but it's not as impressive as my list.
Now look up the folks who won the Attitude Era belt.
Let's see.
That one's got some legends.
Yes, it does.
The Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold,
Shawn Michaels had
Shawn
it.
Michaels, Kurt Angle.
Yep. Brock Lesnar, I think, had it.
I
Because
thought he won the undisputed one, or maybe I was wrong.
Because Brock never had the spinner belt. Because the spinner was on SmackDown, the World Heavyweight Championship was on Raw, and I think Brock won that one, even though Brock's been on SmackDown. When I don't think Brock held the spinner belt. I don't think he ever did.
He didn't. He had the original WWE Championship that JBL was rocking.
That's it.
That was an ugly one.
That's an ugly ass belt.
That one hitting on nothing.
That one hitting on anything.
You weren't taking her nowhere.
Yeah, but as the reigning and defending champion, I think I made the right decision. The
Well, Bam says we deserve our own custom belt.
You gonna pay for it? Not you, D. I'm talking about Bam.
There. Let me see if I can. Champ, how would you feel about a custom design belt?
Now I think we're talking about stuff that over the course of time is going to get more and more expensive, and we're not trying to raise the dues. Like, you're donating this belt to the league out of the goodness of your heart. So like this, we deserve a custom belt every year. Like, that's a dues gonna have to go up, and I know people don't want that to happen. So I'm okay with this one belt. Like you said in the chat, if someone wins the league and they want to buy themselves the spinner belt,
nah, that's not even what I meant. I meant doing it the old-fashioned way. Like if you win the belt and it's like when they replaced the side plates, but only this time you replace the belt in general. So like, let's say you win it and you're like, oh, I want to bring back the John Cena spinner belt, and you go and pay for it. Then now the league uses your belt as the new belt, and you keep the old belt as a commemoration.
No, they send the old belt back to you, because what if I win again and I want the wing belt? That person's not going to ship it to me. You would.
No, I guess I'll take the old one then. Yeah, I guess I'll take the old one.
And Bam, D is donating the belt on behalf of the kindness of his heart.
Oh yeah, this is for the league, to get the league riled up and get us talking. And by the way, I think I have one of the most underrated rosters in the league. So excited to see how they perform this year and
I'm
in this
nervous.
season,
I'm
especially with no
nervous.
division. You should be because your championship run was fugazi.
It was not. I had
It
my
was
team ready to
fugazi.
play. I'm depending on a lot of rookies. That's
Yeah.
all.
Mhm.
You want to jump to the NFC West preview?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
All
Let's
right.
talk about it.
For those of
Let's
you who
talk
don't know,
about it.
until the
Hey.
start of football season, D and I are going to go through division by division. We're going to give our records, MVPs, breakout players, storylines. So this last week we were in the AFC East. We are going across the country to the NFC West. D, we're going to start off with each team's record in the division winner. We're going to go from who we think the worst team is going to be to the best team and going to be in the division and where that team is going to be seated in the playoffs. So I will leave the floor to you.
My brother, here we go. Okay, the NFC West. I'm going to start from worst to first. So, at 4-13 with a divisional record of 2-4, I have the Arizona Cardinals,
Okay.
who I believe are going to come in the 15th place in the NFC. And at 8-9 with a 2-4 divisional record, I have the Seattle
Oh,
Seahawks.
wow. Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the league is going to catch up a little bit to Geno, but I do think there's going to be a really good team. I think Jackson Smith and Njaba is going to be a really, really good rookie. I think this is going to be a really impressive wide receiver trio of Tyler Lockett and Njaba and DK Metcalf. Ultimately, though, I see this next team being able to make a killing in their division, not literally but figuratively, make a killing in their division with a 5-1 divisional record, but finishing 8-9 because they can't beat anyone outside of their division.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Rams. I feel like they are going to finally figure out their woes against the 49ers, who I believe will be the only team that beats them in the division one time. But I feel like they're going to sweep up against the Seahawks and the Cardinals. And I think they're going to beat the 49ers one good time. But I feel like in that last week of the season, I think I think when with a play-in opportunity to get in the playoffs on the line, I think they're going to ultimately lose that one. So 8-9, finishing ninth in the NFC. I have the LA Rams. And then finishing second in the NFC, first overall in the division with a 3-3 record. I actually have the San Francisco 49ers finishing 10-7, winning the division. I think the combination of a really good defense, anticipating that they'll have Nick Bosa back and in the lineup, alongside a steady running game. And then we'll see about their QB play, but imagine if they can get stable QB play like they had last year. I think who knows? I think this is
Question
a
for
team that
you.
can win games, but I ultimately don't see them making the Super Bowl push.
Where do you have them playoff seating wise?
I have them as the number 2 overall seed.
Okay.
I think we went AFC East last week, didn't we?
Yep.
So in the NFC East, I actually had the number 1 seed coming out of that division.
Okay.
So I had the NFC West getting the number 2 seed, and then the NFC South, that division winner being the number 3 seed. And then I'm gonna let everyone know I have the Packers winning the NFC North, and I believe they'll be the 4th seed.
Okay. So for me, kind of the same but kind of different. 3-14, 1-5 in the division. The Cardinals, I have them as a 16th seed. I think they're going to be the worst team in football. 5-12, 3-3 in the division. I have the Rams. Uh, that can change. Again, my variance is 2 wins and 2 losses, so I feel like they may be closer to 7 wins.
So I'm confused on they won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, and
Yes,
last year most of their team was injured. Why do you think they only won 5 games?
I need to see it. Who is Matt Stafford throwing the ball to?
Cooper Cup.
It's got to be more than Cooper Cup. Like it's going to take more than Cooper Cup and Cam Akers to make this something good.
But they've
Unless,
got Cooper Cup and they throw to him a lot. So
If
You
Sean
can't
Sean
expect.
if Sean McVay is who y'all tell me he is, it'll be closer to 7
They
wins.
won the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
It's going to take a lot more than just Cooper Cup and K makers to me. At 11-5, 4-2 in the division, the sixth seed in the playoffs, I have the Seahawks. I think they've done a lot to surround Geno with even more weapons. I don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year, but I think the team overall is better and good enough to win more games. That defense is on fire. They're going to have a great run game. This is going to be just good old fashioned Pete Carroll, grounded pound, play good defense. Geno has DK, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Like he has some talent around him.
Name me a year the Seahawks ran the football well since Marshawn Lynch departed.
They ran the ball well last year.
Did they?
They did.
Okay.
Hold on, Kyle. I'll look that up. I thought I'm expecting an old school Pete Carroll offense this year. And then 12-5, 5-1 in the division. I too have them the number 2 seed overall, the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense is elite. I know Bosa is a little upset right now because he wants a new contract. He did not report to camp. Got to get that ironed up.
Oh, I don't hear the not enough. They don't want to talk about the pay that don't pay that man now, huh?
Yeah, pay that
Mm.
man behind TJ Watt and Hassan Reddick. Like Bosa is him. Pay that man.
I'm saying he's the best player in football.
I would listen to that argument, right? Like that defense picked up Javon Hargrave. Like they're going to be able to sack people from all different levels. Like pay that man and get this defense where it needs to be to compete.
Hey yo,
What
nah, I didn't say nothing, Playboy.
you want to say pause? I just don't know what you're pausing.
You gotta be ready to sack him. Anyway, what do you think is the biggest storyline coming out of the NFC West for you?
For me, it is Kyler Murray's future. Kyler will not be ready by the start of the season. I don't think he's going to be ready until the second half of the season. And if the Cardinals are that bad, will they say, screw it? We're going to go try to get Caleb Williams and get a contract that's cost controlled for 5 years? Or will they take that and trade the house to surround Kyler with more assets? It's going to be extremely hard, pause, to trade a Kyler Murray coming off an ACL injury that played 4 or 5 games. But if you're the Cardinals, and I keep hearing, like I've seen some comps to Caleb Williams being Patrick Mahomes. If you think you can get Patrick Mahomes light for 5 years on a cost control deal, like let's revamp this. Let's revamp this rebuild.
I'm here to tell you right now, those comps are wrong. They also said the same
Oh
thing
yeah,
about
I don't agree with them. I'm
they're
just saying
outrageous.
they are very outrageous.
Let's stop it. And y'all put a lot of pressure on these kids for no reason. So Kyle went back to clarify the Seahawks were tied for fifth last year in yards per rush.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So good old fashioned Pete Carroll offense. Thank
Okay.
you, Kyle.
So what I believe will be the biggest storyline. Well, first I'll say yours was about
Kyler.
Kyler. Yo, I'm gonna let you know right now, they're not trading him. It don't make no sense. And
If they have a chance, because next year's going to be all about Drake May and Caleb Williams, and if the Cardinals have 2 wins come week 12 and Kyler is healthy, what do you think that organization is going to do?
stick with them like they should have when they gave him all the money.
I think they should too, but Jonathan,
These rookie quarterbacks aren't a guarantee.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like that's going to be a hard decision for that front office.
I think it's easier than we think it is. You pay the thief you know, not the one you don't know.
That's
I
fair.
think the biggest storyline will be how the LA Rams will look like the best team head and shoulders inside of the division, but outside of the division be really reluctant to look like a championship contender like they once were. Like
That's
it would,
interesting.
I reemphasize. I really think the Rams are going to be the bar in the NFC West in the division in terms
Mhm.
of winning games in the division. And I think it's when they go outside the division is when they're really going to struggle and probably play down because if you look at the Rams division in this NFC West, it's three really tough games no matter who you're playing and where you're playing at. Maybe you look at the Cardinals matchup a little softly, but that Seahawks and that 49ers matchup are still hard hitting. You're going to feel them come Monday like matchups. So I think the Rams are going to do a great job at showing everyone why they're the class of the division, but not the class of the NFC. So I think that's going to be a big storyline.
Who's
What
your
about your
breakout
breakout
player?
player?
Jinx, show
Oh,
me a soda. Who's your breakout player?
breakout player this year. Listen, I'm going to say Cam Akers has a career year in terms
Okay,
of.
we back on this.
I think Cam Akers rushes for close to 1,200 yards and maybe 4 touchdowns.
If he does that, I am winning our dynasty league. That is my only weakness as running back. Cam Akers just like if Cam Akers does that, go ahead and sing the wing. I'm gonna keep the wing because it's
I
staying with
don't.
me.
I don't think so. Listen, I think you need to go. I think some of y'all need to go back and really examine my roster because I'm I'm solid at a few positions.
I'm
And
solid too. I
a lot of people forget I was the number 2 seed all season until Lamar Jackson got hurt, and then I just didn't have an answer to replace that type of.
should
You
holler.
know,
I had Kirk Cousins. You should have came hollered at me, but you
I
didn't.
had Jared Goff who held me down, but he
Okay.
wasn't he wasn't Lamar. Speaking of which, Jared Goff has let me know that he would like to be moved on from my organization. So if anyone is looking for
Ain't nobody
Jared
trading
Goff,
for Jared Goff. Not right now.
hey, you can get him for the low.
You can get him for a third round
Couple
pick.
couple of third round picks,
Not a
maybe a
couple.
second and third.
A third round pick. For me, breakout player, I'm all in Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like he's going to get that. All DK's on one side, he is on the other side. He's not going to get doubled. Like all the attention is going to go to DCAF. He's going to be able to eat. I don't think he gets 1,000 yards, but I think he flirts with it.
Nah, say it with your chest.
Nah, I don't think he. No, I don't think. No, I think he flirts with 1,000. I don't think he gets there.
Jackson Smith and Jibba, 1,100 yards as a rookie.
Okay, you gonna put money on that?
80,
You,
80,
you going?
85 receptions. I ain't
You
saying nothing else. I ain't
you
betting
you
on my.
going to you going to FanDuel and
I'm
putting
so
that money on?
confident. I'm so confident. I bet it myself on in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Kyle says his pick for breakout player would be Van Jefferson, establishing as the Rams wide receiver too. That listen
Yeah.
to your point. That would be someone who could step up outside of Cooper Cup. I like that, Kyle. Division MVP. I'm gonna let you know right now. My division MVP is going to be the same one I had last year, Aaron Donald.
Okay. I took a different approach. I said Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes is the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. If that defense, again, Javon Hargrave, as an Eagles fan, if he can unlock Javon the same way the Eagles did, that defensive line is going to be disgusting.
Disgusting.
This Fred Warner is going to be able to do whatever he wants to do. Like that defense can be disgusting.
Kyle says division MVP Christian McCaffrey.
Well, if Kyle Shanahan is this run, and let me be clear, Kyle Shanahan is the master of the run game. Like I'm not being totally hateful and disrespectful. So Kyle, I believe you have a point there. You ready to do big deal or no deal?
Big deal or no deal it up, my friend.
I'm going to change one of the questions because I really want to talk about this. I know we're running on time. Your Packers said they're going to give Jordan Love half the season to see if he's the QB of the future. Is that a big deal or no big deal?
That's a big deal. Jordan Love. Listen, baby, I got faith in you. I trust you. I like the combination of what I've been hearing of Romeo Dubs and Jordan Love. Match that on the outside with Christian Watson. We got who did we also just add? We also Jalen Reed from Michigan State and a few other pieces to go alongside our running game. Listen, Jordan Love, 6, 7, 8 games, all you need, baby. Go out here and show them what we already know, brother. You can play at this level. You ain't got to be perfect. Just go out there and put us in great positions to be successful. Now, on the flip side, I also think about this. Who the hell else y'all gonna put in there?
The Cal said Sean Clifford. And Cal, that was going to be what I was going to say.
Put in Sean Clifford, and I guarantee you'll be asking Jordan Love to come back out there.
No, Kyle is hinting to what I was going to say. It is a massive deal because if he goes out there and wets the bed and the Packers aren't good and they're within striking distance of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, oh, buddy, there's going to be a lot of hard decisions need to be made in Green Bay.
How many first-round picks do we have next year?
I don't know.
Because if we own one of the bad team's first round picks next year, it might be something. Looking at you, Raiders,
Yeah, yeah, like
Jets.
you might not be able, right? So let's paint that scenario, and then we'll jump. Cardinals are terrible. Cardinals say, nah, 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 we want to keep Kyler, but this pick is for sale. We're selling Caleb Williams, which is a terrible thing to say because it sounds like slavery. But here's the pick. Who wants it? Like you'll have enough ammo. You could say, hey, our pick is 6. We have the Raiders pick. That's 3 overall. Like that. Like now we're talking. You get
Fair
two
enough.
top 10 picks. Um, Training camp, big deal, no deal. Jordan Addison caught speeding. Said it was for his dog. We both are dog owners. Would you get a speeding ticket rushing your dog to the veterinary?
I think he was rushing for his dog on the way to some booty. You gotta be on the I-10 by 10 going 110.
Yes,
It's
agreed.
7 o'clock on the dot. He was in that drop top, cruising the streets.
Did you see the
Jordan Addison.
video?
Listen, I know what you was doing.
Yeah, and it's okay. I don't know why you would be taking your dog to that, but
Cause that's she you know what they say. Oh, can you bring your dog? I would love
you
to see your
know
dog.
he brought his dog because he planned on spending the night.
Oh, he was going to spin on that ass and then
Yeah,
spend the night.
he's gonna spin on that ass and then spend the night.
Yeah, we
Um,
got him.
taking a moment. All the injuries, especially Bronny. Bronny went to a cardiac arrest. He's okay. All those injuries in training camp too. Just a moment. Prayers up to those guys. Like that's yeah,
Scary. Take
mad
care of
scary.
yourself, people.
Yeah, Jordan does. Hey, Kyle. Jordan had the dog in his car. We'll call a quick ISO. The F1 Hungarian Grand Prix results. Sounds like same old, same old.
Listen, man. As someone who lives on the West Coast, I wake up very early during this European circuit or European portion of the Formula One season to watch these races. I want everyone to know that Red Bull has currently won now 11 races in a row, dating back to the end of last season. That is a Formula One record. They have been on a historic tear, so much so that the real race is not for first anymore. It is really for second. This isn't fair. This is not fun to watch. We get it, Red Bull. It's funny because they changed some rules around a few years ago to introduce more parity into onto the grid, and now we have a new powerhouse. So
See how
shout
that
out to
works.
Max Verstappen. Shout out to McLaren, who looks like they're getting better. Shout out to Mercedes. We still got some work to do.
Um, Last thing for the evening before we wrap up, SummerSlam
Oh, we
is this
talking.
weekend. Here's some of the cards. Tell me which ones you're excited for. 3-way for the it's for fatal. What's the triple threat?
Triple
Thank you.
threat.
Yeah, triple
We
threat
got
between
them.
we got him. Yeah, that you got me. Asuka, Charlotte, Bianca, Cody versus Brock round 3, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre, Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey, Jay Uso and Roman Reigns, tribal combat. We're both excited about that, so we're not going to go into that just yet. Is there any other bout that's like, yeah, I got to see that?
I'm going to be honest. I'm paying attention to Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. I'm not going to hold you. I think the Judgment Day and where they could potentially be going right now is an interesting spot in a unique faction that I don't think we've seen before, where we have Rhea Ripley, Dirty Dom, who's really embracing this heel role that he's on. And then with maybe Finn Balor, maybe even potentially winning the World Heavyweight Championship, could you imagine what that does for a storyline with him and Damian Priest?
Yeah.
Or what that type of storyline looks like if Finn Balor wins the World Heavyweight Championship and then Damian Priest cashes it in on Roman at SummerSlam.
Do you
Um,
think they would take the belt off Seth that quickly? Because he just won it 2 months ago. Like, do you think it's a great story, right? He wins, or what if he wins and then Damian Priest comes in, cashes in on Finn, and he's the champ, right? That is a story. But do they take the belt off Seth that quickly? Like, does Seth sign up for that?
I think
Because
I
that's a
think
great story.
I think to take the belt off Roman means you were able to really carry the show. And
So
I
you
don't
think Roman's going to lose to
know, that's
Jay?
what I'm saying. To beat Roman, you would have to have the weight or the power to really carry the company.
Oh yeah, and Damian
And
Priest does not have
I
that.
don't think any either Jay or Damian Priest, if winning the Money in the Bank, have that quite yet. But I think it's coming soon.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, the belt I'm looking for, Gunther, longest reigning intercontinental champion ever. Drew McIntyre is not on that level anymore. Like I hope Gunther. I
This is
hope
the
it's. I
longest
hope
reign
it.
ever now, or I thought this
Is he getting
century.
close? I think it's the longest ever. If
The,
not, it's one of the longest ever.
the
I
Ring General.
I kind of hope Gunther versus Drew McIntyre is a squash match just to show how good Gunther is. Um,
Really?
yeah,
That's
okay,
so interesting.
sign me up for Gunther. Other one, you and I are both excited. Jay Roman Tribal Compact, essentially no holds bar. I think Solo tries to take his claim as the tribal chief. I don't think Jay wins. I think Roman wins, but Solo is going to do something that pisses Roman off, and Roman is going to. That's now that storyline is going to start Solo coming for the throne and dissenting from the bloodline.
I see this happening in a little bit of a different way. I think we see the unification and the coming together of Roman, Jay, and Jimmy at SummerSlam, and then
Really?
Solo attacking Jay for Roman to win the match, which then puts Roman in a bind of like him not wanting to be at war with his brothers, but so now he has to go to war against uh,
Wait. So you're
Solo.
saying Jay and Roman battle. Roman wins. They make up. The bloodline is back. Solo does not like that and attacks Jay.
Yeah,
Gotcha. That
that's
would be interesting. Because
I think it would.
Solo is the one who injured Jimmy, right? It wasn't Roman. Solo
Yeah.
injured Jimmy.
Hmm.
So you're saying,
And Roman recently kept him from hitting
yeah.
Jay on Friday.
Okay.
So
So now it's time for Solo to be out of the bloodline.
hmm
That's very interesting.
this could be interesting. Could be interesting. Listen, one more thought on this fantasy commissionership. What are your thoughts
Mhm.
about the recent announcement of there being a yearly owners meeting?
It is going to be hilarious. I know you're in a different time zone, so that means it's going to be late at night in our time zone. So someone gonna come to that joint drunk or drinking.
It's March 10th, which I believe it should be like a March 10th is like a weekday.
It doesn't
So
matter. Oh, it's gonna be hilarious.
one thing I'm looking forward to March 10th is a Sunday
Even better.
on the Lord's Day. So March 10th, when we do this annual owners meeting, we are going to be voting on two rule changes.
Yep.
One's going to be a roster change, the other
Yep.
one's going to be a rule change. And
Correct.
it sounds like, and there's only two changes allowed per year, one of
Yep.
each. So it sounds like one thing that's going to be voted on, or the one thing that's going to be voted on for the roster change, is this taxi system.
Yep. And
What are your
I
thoughts on that?
assure you that's going to pass. I understand it. I understand what you're saying, and I understand what they're saying. You are saying the taxi system allows people to hoard, and it's not as competitive. One thing we could do is if we implement a taxi system, then eliminating two roster spots, which kind of defeats the purpose. But again, like I think that might be a compromise where everyone wins or limit the number of taxi slots. Like I think they're talking three. Well, you only get one, right? There's some wiggle room in this. But yes, the taxi squad is going to get voted in. There's the
Yeah, I see
that's
it getting
done.
voted into. I'm really not a fan of it. I've already been thinking about how I wanted to introduce this legislation. Um,
Oh, okay. Thank you, Kyle. That's a good point. Kyle said you can make restrictions on the taxi squad, like rookies only.
okay, so I could do rookies only. So how would you guys feel about this if the legislation was a taxi squad? If we only get 3 new rookies a year
Hmm.
for the draft, a taxi squad of 2, rookies only, and we take 2 regular roster spots away.
No. If you're going to limit, if you're going to restrict the taxi spots for rookies only, then I would say keep the rosters as is
Okay, so 2 taxi spots,
and keep the rosters the
rookies
same.
only, and keep the roster number the same.
Yes, I think that would pass.
Okay, well that's the only way I'm presenting it though.
Oh, well, me, you, and Bam have inside information.
Who?
I wouldn't present that
Kyle?
right now. I would say present that closer to the meeting day because they're
I
going to
mean,
forget.
yeah, I'm gonna present it like that in March, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm really interested to see if anyone has any like rule changes.
I don't have any
I
rule
don't
changes. I know what I'm shooting for in 2025. I'm gonna start
what.
playing MC flex 2 QBs. I'm
Mm,
pushing for that. I'm gonna start
no,
campaigning. I'm gonna start shaking hands, kissing babies.
no, I don't know.
Super
I don't
flex.
know about a super flex league. So I guess my thoughts here is if there's no if no one can really come to or think of any like because every 4 or 5 years we review the buy-in, so that's not for a few years.
Hmm. I mean, I'm
Um,
sure there's something we can think of rule changes down the line in regards to like scoring systems. Maybe you get an extra point, per rush or something like or per carry or something like that. Like in regards to scoring, because that's the only rule changes that you can really make, right? Is like scoring.
yeah,
Like what's the scoring
scoring
format?
or like there's no division. So if we wanted to do like
Yeah.
different setups to like either if you want to bring back divisions or if people want to go from 6 playoff teams to 7 playoff teams and one bye spot, you
Yeah.
can do that. So that'll be something I think through. But ultimately, every year look for there to be like one roster change that's introduced. We vote on it,
Go from there.
and I think when I um
Oh, Kyle, that's a cool one. The only problem with that is collusion. Like so Kyle proposed that we need to present a no trade deadline as a rule change. I like that. I just know if we get to week 16, like there could potentially be some collusion of, hey, give me this for this. I'll give you some money or I'll give you an extra first round pick, right? Or I'll take my first round pick and draft whoever you want and give that person to you. Right. That's some Jerry Jones level of debauchery.
I don't know about that one, Kyle. I like the rule. I like the NFL has a trade deadline. I feel like we should keep some aspects of the NFL in
That's something to
fantasy.
think about though.
It is something to think about. It is something to think about.
D, tell the people where they can find you.
People, make sure you follow me at Los Demix. That's at LOSDEEMIX. On Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Twitch, YouTube. You see the turntable behind me. It's coming soon. Pause. I've been practicing. Hopefully, listen, Danny. I want you to know I'm trying to be playing at a live venue in September.
I love where your ambition is at. Kyle, thank you for that suggestion. I just don't want to leave them on red. Non-playoff teams playing for their picks in a bracket should remove the
That is
collusion.
how we do it. That is how we
Yeah,
do it. So he's
that's a
right.
smart that's a smart point out. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on social, speak on _ pod, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Follow me on the Bird app, Danny Ocean 41. I'm sorry, it's not the Bird app anymore. It's the X app, Danny Ocean 41.
But don't go
Um,
texting your ex.
Please don't do that. It didn't work for a reason.
Right?
Catch us next week. Do you got anything else?
Listen, listen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us. So thank you guys for speaking on it. Make sure you guys just continue to support the pod. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Danny and I, we work hard at this shit. We love it every week, week in and week out. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's get some keep getting some folks in here. Keep getting the energy in here. Let's keep getting the energy up. And if you're listening via the audio platforms, we thank you. Reach out to us. Let us know where you're listening from and what you're listening to. If you disagree or agree. Hey, make sure you continue to speak on it. I am the bro with the fro, and we gotta go. Danny Ocean, Los D Mix, speak on it. Episode 109. Peace.
Speak. Peace.